Hey up everyone, and a very happy new year. As you're seeing this, it'll be about the 12th of January, I think, so you're probably sick of people wishing you a happy new year. But as I'm filming this on the floor in the library, it is the afternoon of Thursday the 2nd of January, and I can't get enough of saying happy new year to people. I did a lot of it yesterday on the Marine Lake walk, which you, well, hopefully would have seen because you've got to this point. And yesterday was just all plinky plonky music as I had a lovely day of doing the marine walk. Marine walk? Sounds like doing the Lambeth walk. Doing the Marine Lake walk, which is kind of a tradition on both Christmas Day and New Year's Day. I just love it. It really, really blows the cobwebs away, particularly yesterday because it was absolutely freezing. Ate loads of lovely food, just really, really chilled. Started my first book of the year, which I'm very suspicious of. No, I'm not suspicious of, I'm very superstitious about. So I picked Robbie Arnaux's Dusk, as you'll have seen. And the reason I chose this is because Robbie is one of my favourite authors. So I feel like this is going to set me off in good stead for the year to come. I love the premise of this. It's about a puma called Dusk who is killing shepherds. And so a bounty is put on her head. And that's not why I like it. The idea of hunting, absolutely abhorrent. But we then meet these twins who I thought were going to be about, like, for some reason 12 or 13. They're not, they're 37, who decide they're going to go and hunt it. And when I started reading this, I suddenly realised this is the perfect book for the beginning of the year, not just because it's by one of my favourite authors and the fact that it came out last year in Australia and is coming out this autumn here in the UK. So it feels like an in-betweeny book for me. One of my most anticipated books of last year, but actually only coming out here this year, if that makes sense. But also because I hadn't realised this, partly because those of you who've been around a while will know I don't really pay attention too much to blurbs, especially on books by authors that I really, really love. But the main characters are twins, which is the first prompt of the Savage Reading Challenge for 2025. So fingers crossed. I mean, so far, it's got a real country and western feel to it, which I forget that I really enjoy as a genre, or have enjoyed when I've read it. So that is what I started and will be carrying on with. This morning, I've been out looking at sofas to replace this one. I really, really, really want to do the library revamp this year. And what I've decided is I'm only going to allow myself to buy furniture for the library that is secondhand. The shelves are all staying. I mean, wallpaper, I don't think you can. Maybe you can get secondhand, maybe I'm wrong. Paint, I'm not sure you can, but ignore these colours because it's going to be the sofa, and I really want to get a matching armchair as well with it that'll be on the side of the room behind you, that's going to decide the tones of the room. And when I looked at some seconds today, by seconds I mean X display, and I've gone to go and look at these emerald green ones that I really, really love, actually kind of jade green more than anything. They were way smaller than I thought they were going to be. Not that I want something massive, obviously there's only a certain amount of space that you can have there, but this has got a little bit uncomfortable now to sit and film on, which is not why I'm sat on the floor. It's because I'm going to be sorting out all of these in a minute, but I'll tell you about that in a second. Then I saw a purple set that I absolutely fell in love with, but it's way out of my budget and what I'm looking for. So I'm going to keep my eyes peeled. I don't want to do it in a rush. I think the right furniture will find me, or vice versa or something. That's what I've been doing today. Next up, I'm going to be sorting all of these books out, which are all the books that I read, there's more behind me there, in 2025, and trying to start whittling them down to my favourite books of last year to make that video. So that's the plan for this afternoon. And then don't know what the rest of the day holds. We'll see. Start of a new vlog. It's just going to be getting into the swing of a new year. First days of the new year, first reads of the new year. I've got a few ideas of what I might want to head to after this, but also, you know me, as soon as I create even a semi-TBR of sorts, I fight against it. We'll see how it goes. I shall report back when I've done whatever I've done and whatever I'm doing next. Wasn't it, Oscar? Absolutely exhausting.
Favourite book, easy one, Barbara King's Author, Demon Copperhead. This one really got me out of a reading slump this year and I absolutely loved it. It is sad, but it's also very captivating and as people say, I gobbled it up. I feel like book people say that a lot when they speak about books that they love. I gobbled it up.
Hello? Hello? Morning, everyone. That wasn't your best. Wasn't the best first one of the year. Camera pop out. Okay, it's quite early, and we're on our way to go and look at a bench that was glanced at. The window of dreams. And looked quite nice and could be the inspo for a dining room makeover. But we haven't actually seen what it looks like from the front.
Or the price.
It
could be 20 quid, it could be £1,000.
It won't be £1,000, it's an age concern. It's second hand, but also I want to go and look at some second hand sofas in there, because after the trip yesterday, I don't think former, what do they call them? Warehouse? No, showroom. What do they call them when people have sat on them and
Pre-loved.
Ex-display counts as second hand, really. It is still there. We're playing guess how much it is. I think 40 quid. How much do you think? 100. Okay, let's see. It's sold. There's no appropriate sofas for the library either. Abort. So back from town now, and thought I would just share two things that I got in TK Maxx. I was very tempted to get a Scrub Daddy. I don't know why, that makes me laugh like a child every time I see it. It's really, really childish and I should know better. Was very, very tempted though by that open up light, sort of disco light book. That's the joy of TK Maxx. It's a bit like the middle aisle of Lidl. The middle aisle of Lidl. Anyway, it's a bit like that, which I did see the wonderful Brittany Bathgate do something about in one of her vlogs recently, and that really, really tickled me. Anyway, TK Maxx, love it, but you never know quite what you're going to find. I found two corking things, or one app thing, and well, they're both apps. The first of which is this. Oh, hello. It's blinding me, frankly. It's a 2025 Moleskin diary, a day per page, and I have got a little one of these that I want to carry around with me regularly, but what I want to start doing is not journaling necessarily.
And here I want to kind of, I was thinking about how I'd like to mark moments of gratitude, also have what I'm doing in here, and it not being like morning page or anything, but just a little document of what's going on, any ideas that I have for anything, or yeah, this is kind of going to be...
So I suppose journaling, actually. It's going to be my journal. But this reduced from £28 to £6.99. You can't go wrong with that. And then, how apt is this candle? It's called Dusk. And what am I reading at the moment? Dusk! It smells like caramelly, oody. It's just delicious. But Dusk, I'm really enjoying it. It's quite a slow story, but the atmosphere is brooding so much, and the more sort of hints you get about what has been going on in the twins' past and how kind of they're from quite an infamous line, I would say, is really fascinating. And this sort of otherness of the place that they're in, where there are giant skeletons growing out of the ground, or that have been sort of, I guess, partially buried, and so seem to be growing out of the ground. And yeah, it's got this really otherworldly feel to it, which I'm really, really enjoying. The tension is brooding and building slowly. So yeah, really, really enjoying it. Now, I mentioned that this was my accidental pick for my first of the Savage reading prompts for 2025, which is books with twins as the main characters. I have got 3 other books that when you see this, if you're still thinking, oh, what would I like to read? These are ones that were almost my first pick. We've got The Second Life of Samuel Tyne by Esiri Edugyan, who is an author I adore. I've only read 2 of her 3 novels. This is the one outstanding, and I've got one of her only non-fiction book. I think it's just there. So I need to get a wriggle on and read these at some point, because I really, really, really love her books. But, don't know about you, if I've got an author I really, really love and I don't know when their next book is coming out, I'm really slow to get to anything by them in the interim. Then we also have Little Egypt by Lesley Glaister, which has been on my shelves for years. This came out in 2014, so 11 years ago now, and it won Fiction Uncovered. And that's a prize that I used to really love and got to judge, but sadly it doesn't exist anymore. And this is about 2 elderly twins looking back on their life, and I think one of them is a right wrong'un, so that intrigues me. And then this has been on my shelves for ages too. Well, not quite so long. I think since well, it came out in 2020, so a little while. But I heard about this, I think, on Canada Reads, and this is Butter Honey Pig Bread by Francesca Ekwuyasi, and this is meant to be amazing too. So if you have any of these three, they would suffice. But I wanted to remind you all that if you head to, and I will link it down below, Storygraph, there is a link to joining in with doing the Savage reading prompts, and people leave their suggestions there. So there's loads of corking suggestions. There we are, that's my chat. I am going to go and read more of Dusk, and then I've got to get ready to go out. Hey up, I'm just about to go out as I'm going to go see my friend Jane, who is back from Germany for a bit. And I said, am I looking back at 2024? I'm looking forward to 2025. I want to make sure that I catch up with lots of my friends more often, and with some of them being dispersed more internationally than others, it's harder, but I'm really looking forward to this. We're going to one of my favourite restaurants, Bacaro, for tapas and some cocktails. I'm also going to nip to Zara beforehand. I've given myself a time limit on it by leaving a little bit later because I want to see what's in their sale, because this year I am planning on mainly trying to buy second hand, but also in the sales, not just with furniture as I mentioned, but also clothes. And actually I'm wearing one of my best ever second hand finds, which is this cashmere grey jumper I got for a whole £6. So there we are. I am worried that this is making me look a little bit like a vicar, but we'll roll with it. Jane will tell me if I look dreadful. She's not backwards in coming forwards, which I love about her. Anyway, that's the plan. Taking you with me. Let's go. Hey everyone, it is Saturday early evening and I've had a very chill day today. I had a lovely time seeing my friend Jane after going to the shops and getting myself a new top. But, and this is kind of a horrible thing to have to talk about, I then on the way home had, I don't want to say it was a mugging, but I don't want to say it was just a theft, because there was a bit of an altercation. But yeah, not a nice incident on the bus, and my wallet got stolen. Thankfully they didn't get my phone. So yeah, I've just been a bit out of sorts today, and I didn't want to talk about it really, but also I felt like if I didn't mention it, it might seem odd. So yeah, it's just been a chill day, lots of cuddling the cats, lots of reality TV, and a nice bath, and then weirdly about to go and see Nosferatu to try and cheer myself up. I don't know how that will do, but we shall see. So yeah, I just thought I'd give you that update. Don't really want to talk about it in the comments down below, but didn't want to not mention it because I'm trying to capture bits from every day of the year. And you have good days, you have not so good days. So yeah, right, I'll catch up with you tomorrow. Earl, you alright there? Okay? Yeah? Paw prints literally everywhere. Hi everyone, it is Sunday and it has snowed like a lot, which has brought a lot of joy into my life after a slightly ropey couple of days, let's not lie, but I think I'm doing okay. Been out in the snow this morning, sort of, to go and have dim sum, which was delicious. I love a dim sum Sunday, they're one of my favourite days. I thought I would have a catch up with you because I finished Dusk. Oh my goodness, without any spoilers, and if you've read this and you want to carry on this conversation in the comments down below, write some jargon first and then, because I don't want to spoil it for anyone else, but this has the best ending I have ever read in a book, I think. I just loved how he finished this, and I will think about that for a long time. I found this very emotional towards the end as well. Like there were 2 points where I got quite teary. I mentioned that the atmosphere built and built and built, and it did. And I think he's a genius. And this could possibly be my favourite of his books. I don't know, Flames Will Always Have My Heart, because that was the first, and you never forget your first. I thought this was stunning, and we'll talk about it more in wrap-ups. I think with these vlogs, I'm going to give you like little overviews of how I feel as I'm going, whilst I'm doing other stuff as well, and then you'll get more detailed info, detailed data on it. I don't know what that's all about, but more detailed thoughts when I do my wrap-ups. So this afternoon I really fancy reading some poetry, and I really want to read Andre Bagoo's new collection, Midnight Bestiaries. Is that how you say it? I always want to say Bestiaries, but it's Bestiaries. Those of you who've been following a while will know that I absolutely love Andre. I thought his short story collection was stunning. His essay collection was brilliant. I've got it back on my shelves though because I want to reread that at some point, as I really like inhaled that, and I realised there are certain books that I inhaled that I would like to go back to and just read a little slower. I don't know if you've had experiences of that with books. Then I loved his poetry collection, Narcissus, so this was one that I'm very excited about, so I'm going to read that this afternoon. I might go and frolic in, no, I won't go and frolic in the snow, who am I kidding? It has been lovely to watch the cats frolicking in the snow though. Earl does not know what the chuff to do.
They're worth celebrating. They dedicated their lives to this saga.
What do we think of this angle, possibly, for future videos? I kind of like it. It's a little bit different. I feel like I need to mix things up a little bit. Anyway, it is, I think it's Monday today. No, I'm sure it's Monday today. And I know it is because I've had the first book post of the year. It's Old Soul by Suzanne Barker, which I believe is a vampire tale. And I have been hankering after some vampiric, is that a word, fiction since I saw Nosferatu. So this could fit the bill. We shall see, because I don't think I'm going to read a novel next for reasons I shall explain. But I love the incarnations, super duper excited for this, so we'll be going to it very soon. I finished Midnight Bestiaries last night, and I got such a surprise. First of all, it was brilliant, so I just want to point that out. But also, I'm in the blinking acknowledgements. Can't believe it, had no idea. So that was an absolute treat. This collection I just thought was gorgeous. It starts off with some really sexy poems. Well, Bestiary set at the live drawing session I really loved. And also actually just this introduction poem which doesn't have a title. I thought that was great. There's this section called The Creature in the Flowers, which is a really long poem, and just the way that Andre plays with the form, as it gets more and more sort of floaty, I don't think that's the technical term, the more and more I kind of got emotional about it. There's also images in here, and yeah, really loved this. Then this morning I read Giant by Mollie Ray, which is a wordless graphic novel. I can't believe this is all done in biro, and this is about a family, and one day one of the members of the family just wakes up a giant, and there's clearly something wrong with him, so he goes to hospital, and or them actually, because there isn't any gender, but goes into hospital and has treatment. And I found it really beautifully done. Just honestly, how has somebody done that with a biro? I just can't get my head around it. I mean, I love a Bic, but I couldn't create anything like that. Just a really, this is a hug of a book, very emotional, but also kind of, is cathartic the word I want to use? Possibly not, but that's the word that I'm going with at the same time. So yeah, really like this. Those are the last two things I read, and I realised, like sort of by accident, I've gone from a novel to poetry to a graphic novel. So I think I was wondering about maybe some non-fiction, but I'm definitely in the mood for short at the moment. I think my attention span is better with short, and once I do have some short non-fiction, that doesn't feel quite what I need, because also I'm going away tomorrow, hopefully, dependent on the snow. And so I thought I would take She's Always Hungry by Eliza Clark, which is a short story collection which I believe has elements of horror, so it might scratch my Nosferatu itch. I need to go and see a doctor about that. I won't be taking this one, of course. I'll be taking the Proof That I Can Batter Around. But I also love this because it's giving Wicked in my head, like it's the pink and then the green hand, and oh, I just think I'm going to really, really, really enjoy it. That is going to be my next read. Those have been my latest reads, and that's been the first, because we're doing first obviously because it's the beginning of the year. That's the first book that has arrived this year, and one that I will definitely be heading to very, very, very soon. Any other updates? Last day of my holidays today, back to work tomorrow. I think just gonna have a takeaway and watch a movie, possibly The Zone of Interest. I'm not going for the cheeriest films so far this year. I've actually booked to go and see the Nickel Boys as well on Thursday. Yes, so really not cheery, but I'm in the mood for that sort of film. I don't know what that says about me. Right, I've talked for too long, so I'm gonna go. I'll catch up with you soon. Bye-bye.
Die nennt mich die Königin von Auschwitz.
Morning everyone, look at those empty shelves. Wow. I am at my desk for the first time for work in 2025. It is snowy AF. I'm meant to be going to Leicester today. Leicester has been declared a major incident due to flooding. So I currently don't know what's going on. I'm also waiting to see if my bank cards turn up after the incident last week. It's one of those days where everything feels a little bit up in the air, a little bit bonkers, and I want it to feel not that way. So yeah, anyway, that's my update. Yesterday, I didn't film anything really. I did watch Zone of Interest, which I'm still thinking about and absolutely just floored me. It is incredible, uncomfortable, unflinching, important. If you've not watched it, you must. And if you have watched it, the whole thing I thought was phenomenally done, so deft, so heartbreaking, the way you realise what's going on and then sort of little things are said, all of that. But also the hoovering scene at the end. If you've seen it, you'll know what I mean. But oh, I don't think I'm going to stop thinking about that film for quite some time. That's the update. Fare thee well. Wow, isn't this lighting fancy? I am in Leicester after what has been one of the most stressful days of am I going, am I not going, am I going, am I not going? Got here, wanted to stay an extra night, can't do that. Oh, anyway, I will have a catch up properly with you when I've just managed to sort of decompress a little bit. Maybe I've got some tea. But yeah, I'm in Leicester and hoping to see my dad tomorrow after a work conference, which is why I am here. But that's tomorrow. So, but I'll have to catch up with you before tomorrow. I've confused myself, let alone all of you. It is tomorrow. I didn't catch up with you last night. I'm so sorry. It was a bit of a whirlwind, and now I'm on a mad dash private. I'm so tempted to go in there. Just to happen to you, you see the word private, and you're like, come on, let me in. Anyway, I'm on a dash to the train station to get to Loughborough to meet my colleague Andrew, to get to an old mansion house to go and do a conference about libraries and talk about the bit of libraries I look after. The lift's gone past me. How outrageous. Anyway, that's a really boring update. I'll have a problem. I'm losing my voice, not before I talk. Hi everyone, I feel like I have not caught up with you for ages, but it's actually only been this morning. But that said, that was very brief. Like last night was brief, and like yesterday morning was brief, because I honestly feel like the last 24, 48 hours have been a bit of a whirlwind. I am in Leicester because there was a conference for the librarians of Leicestershire Library Service today, which I was talking at. And I was talking about the Universal Library offers, which I project manage, which I'll link down below our work website, where you can find out what they are. It's what I work on 3 out of the 3.5 days that I'm at Libraries Connected, the charity for libraries. It was a really great event because I got to hear from librarians who are using the offers in the work they're doing. So that was like brilliant for me. So I feel like hopefully it was a two-way street where I got to talk to them and they got some input on how things are going to go, but also getting back, hearing how they're using things day to day, but also where, you know, things could be better for them. Anyway, so that was really good. But I wasn't sure I was even going to get here for the event because the snow and hail was so bad in Liverpool yesterday morning that the trains were getting cancelled in the morning. Then suddenly it was fine to go. So I ended up getting a last minute afternoon train down, then got here quite late, had a Mowgli, had to dash before it closed. 3 chat bombs throughout January for the table of 1. Got all those chat bombs to myself. I was thrilled. Had a little feast. Came back and pretty much, I watched a bit of YouTube. Natalie talking about Dusk by Robbie Arnott, just amazing. And in fact, that video I'll link down below, where she talks about 4 of her favourite Australian authors, and I attempted to read the 3 that I haven't. It was great. Crashed after that because I was knackered. Today ended up going to Loughborough because even though it's Leicestershire Libraries, I shouldn't have assumed that the meeting was in Leicester. I met my colleague Andrew and we went to the event. Really interesting day. Like I said, I taught this afternoon in an amazing old manor house, bunnies. What more could you want? And then had to sort out the hotel issue. I basically assumed, and we all know that assume makes an ass of you and me, that I would be able to extend a night where I was staying for work and pay for an extra night myself, because tonight I've been and had a catch up with my dad, who I hadn't seen for quite a while. But it turned out that I couldn't, so then I had to get a new hotel. Then I thought I wasn't meeting my dad till later, so I went shopping. Then he messaged me and was like, "Where are you? What's going on?" Anyway, suffice to say, it's been a whirlwind, and I'm now at a generic hotel. And I'm going to watch some more BookTube, read a couple of Eliza Clark short stories, and then go to bed before tomorrow. I'm quite excited because I'm going to a cafe that I came to last time I was in Leicester and really loved. Going to go there. I am umming around whether I'm going to go to Waterstones and pick up the Lucy Wood book. Is it Rewitched? Something's drawing me to it, especially because it's half price in the Waterstone sale and it's the one with the spreadsheets. So, I don't know. But for now, I just thought I'd have a catch up. Apparently I need to talk to you for 5 minutes for that. So that's 5 minutes you won't get back.
There is one standout book, and I suspect that some of you who've been watching my channel for a while might be able to predict what that book might be.
Yes, thanks, babes. Loved writing it. I loved the joy of writing it.
Morning everyone, it is Wednesday. No, it's not, it's Thursday. It's Thursday the 9th, I think, of January in Leicester, as you know, and I'm going to go to a coffee shop that I went to last time in Leicester, where the coffee art was so incredible and the coffee was so brilliant, and I've seen pictures of the food that looks amazing, that I want to go back. Then I may pop back to Zara again. I'm obsessed with Zara at the moment, to look at a bag for a second time, because I want a just like everyday bag, and then to Type, which is one of my, or is it Typo, which is one of my favourite stationery shops. They've got a sale on, and possibly go back to Waterstones to see if I do want that Lucy Jane Wood Rewitched book. I'm so tempted. I don't know why, it doesn't look like my kind of thing, but at the same time I'm like, oh, it looks really cosy and witchy, and anyway, so I may do that, and then come back here, grab my stuff, get on the 3-hour train home. Sadly, they aren't doing brunch until 10, but I did get a Spanish latte. And anyone that does a Spanish latte gets the winning award from me.
What are you gonna do? It's now or never.
Morning everyone, I think we might be heading for my first DNF of the year. I haven't talked about this book. It is 365 poems for life, which is compiled by Allie Esiri, and it's an uplifting collection for every day of the year. My mum very kindly got me this for Christmas. I'm not finding it uplifting, and I'm finding it a bit... This, to me, isn't the sort of poetry that I really like, and whilst I have enjoyed one out of like the 10 so far, which was Jackie Kay's poem, the others I'm finding a bit either twee or a bit, they're not uplifting, I'm finding them quite depressing, and whilst also being twee and a bit sort of saccharine when they are trying to be uplifting. So what I might do is DNF this, sorry mum if you see this, and switch to like maybe that big chunky Margaret Atwood collection and read a few of those every day. Also, I don't think the reading one poem a day thing works for me. I quite like to read a few poems in a go if I'm reading poems, so maybe it's a mixture of that. I did try her seasonal one, like one poem for every autumn day, one poem for every etc, you know, the seasons, and I felt similar about those. So I don't know whether it's her taste or whether I feel like I'm being taught or something, but it's not quite working, that mixture of that, the tone of the poems, and also one poem a day. So soz, mum. But yeah, not a fan. What I was a fan of though, and what I wanted to have a chat with you about, I think I need to hoover this headboard, don't I? It's really dusty, that's disgusting. What I was a fan of was the Nickel Boys, which I saw last night and just left me in an emotional mess. I don't know what's going on with my film viewing this year. I seem to be heading for some quite, well, Nosferatu, The Zone of Interest, this. It's an adaptation of Colson Whitehead's novel, which I absolutely... Well, it's hard to say I loved that book, just like it's hard to say I loved the film last night, because they're both so harrowing. But I just thought the acting was incredible. I thought the cinematography was stunning. It just... the way it merged in some of, like, true source material from the incident that the Nickel Boys looked at. Yeah, I just thought it was absolutely incredible. I've seen some really mixed reviews of it. I've also been really annoyed because it's been playing at stupid times like 11 or 4:30, and how can the general public go and see that? So that's really annoyed me, which is why I was determined to go and see it yesterday and finish work early, especially to go and see it yesterday, because I really wanted to support a black led made film. I thought it was stunning. Going back to what I was saying about people being a bit critical of it, some people have found it a bit disjointed. I like that, and I like the fact the film doesn't spoon feed you the book. You have to work a bit at it, and maybe that's what's caused a problem. Some people would like it spoon fed, but it's a bit of a patchwork of a movie. But then I really like patchworks of a book where you have to put them together. So if you fancy seeing it, try and seek it out. I've got a feeling it might end up getting Oscar nominated, and then hopefully we'll get a lot more screenings. But yeah, I thought it was incredible. So there's another movie update. Who knew that this year would be so much about films? But I do. I love the cinema. Hey everyone, it is later on Friday. I'm here with the number one, the OG cat, the one-eyed pirate cat, Oscar. And I thought, as he was looking really cute here, I'd just sit down and have a catch up with you, because I finished She's Always Hungry, which I read in proof form, but actually seamless. Looks like this. Shall I hold it there, Oscar, so it's not quite in your way? It actually really goes with what's going on here. He's being cute, but fierce. The collection is wild. Like, we go out into space. All the stories concentrate on hunger, and there is a vampire story in here, so that has scratched my as it's now known, Nosferatu itch, although I'm sure it'll come back because I still keep thinking about that film. I thought it was brilliant and was just what I kind of needed because each one really held my attention. There was one that I thought was a bit too long, and then there was another one actually that I thought was too short. I keep forgetting that I'm not doing a wrap up here. I'm just literally doing it. Oh, I read it and this is what I thought. So I've read it. This is what I thought. Today has been a mixed day. Had a really demotivating meeting this morning, but I'm just parking that. I think I could just be a little bit sensitive because I think since what happened last week, I was fine, but I think I was in shock. And then as the week's gone on, I've been a bit less fine and a little bit more emotional perhaps. And I'm just dealing with all of that shenanigans really. But what is nice is tonight off to my in-laws to go and get some good home cooked family grub. So really looking forward to that. Probably won't take you with me because not everyone wants to be on camera, I mean, imagine. I was gonna end this vlog here because actually also this would make quite a nice thumbnail, especially with some cat clickbait going on here. But I feel like I want to try and sneak in a non-fiction before I end this vlog. So I might go through the shelves when I get back to see if there's something short. I have an idea actually already of what I'd quite like to read because it might be good for a prompt that's not a savage reading prompt, I mean, imagine. Please excuse the washing machine, it's washing day. I am very excited about these crumpets. They're giant. Yes, I am going to have all three, and I'm going to have two with marmite and one with butter just to do the taste test. These could either be amazing or a little bit too much. Is anything ever too much in terms of crumpets? Quite possibly, we'll see.
I'm going. No. What happened to the dessert? You utterly disgust me.
Hey everyone, it is Saturday afternoon and I thought I would have a catch up with you before I wrap this vlog up because I have read a non-fiction book. I was massively derailed in reading though because finally Hey You have dropped lots of episodes of Real Housewives that I've been waiting on from Salt Lake City, New York, from Beverly Hills and from Married to Medicine I'm also really into now, and then also Potomac. Whoever is in charge of release dates and decided there should be non-released over Christmas, well, frankly, they should be in prison. That should be a criminal offence because that's the perfect time to watch it. Anyway, I won't bore you with my love for Real Housewives. I will, though, just mention one other thing before I tell you about the non-fiction book that I've read, and that is that this has arrived. I am so thrilled. This is my new dressing gown and it is gorge. I've been wanting something really bold stripy for a while. It has a brilliant red tie. I would wear it for you, but I don't know if that's too much for the internet, frankly, me in a dressing gown. So instead, I'll tell you about what non-fiction book I read, and that is I Remain in Darkness by Annie Erneaux, translated by, should check that earlier on, shouldn't I? Tanya Lesley. I have never read any Annie Erneaux before and have meant to for ages. And for January, for Ben of Ben Read Good Challenge, the prompt is Annuary to read an Anne or an Anna or an Annie. And so I did, and I found this so moving. This is about, well, it's told through diary form, which actually I'd forgotten how much I love, about several years in the late 80s when she was going to visit her mum who was in a home and she had dementia. Well, I bawled. This really got to me. I have had relatives who have had dementia and it has been a horrendous thing to witness, heartbreaking. And the way that she writes about this is so haunting. It's so short, but it packs an absolute wallop. I have to say, like, I did pick the kit for the shortness because I wanted to squeeze a book in, which I shouldn't be doing, should I? No, very naughty. But I'm also thrilled that Ben's prompt has made me read it. There's a weird dichotomy going on in my head where I'm like, I'm really glad I read it. Did I cram it in as a prompt? And the first non-fiction books that I could have read, a non-fiction, a novel, some short stories, some poetry, and a graphic novel in my first vlog. Is that how I want my reading to be? I want to know if any of you have read any Annie Erneaux. What is the order that you should read them? She mentions A Man's Place in here, so that's tempting. That's where I head to next. I can't remember which one I've got on the shelves behind me. It's somewhere up there. I really loved the honest rawness of this, but it's not a wrap up, is it? No, it's just a vlog where I chat about what I'm reading as I go and what I'm buying and all that kind of stuff, which is how the vlogs will be going forward. I'd love to know what you loved in this vlog. I'd love to know what you'd like to see more of, anything that I didn't include that you'd like to see. all that kind of stuff, and I will see you in another video very, very soon. Bye. Hey up everyone, I have decided that the internet is ready to see this dressing gown. Oh, look at it, I love it. Also, do not love my very pink bathroom. Just a quick additional part to the vlog, almost a week after I filmed that last segment, to say sorry that this has taken so long to upload. As I mentioned, 2025 has been a bit of a roller coaster and has given me slight whiplash, but we're getting in the swing of it now, so hopefully vlogs will be more regular. But do let me know what you'd like to see in them going forward. Maybe less of me in this dressing out. I'm feeling so cozy right now, it's delightful. But yeah, sorry this has been a little bit late, and goodness knows what's happened to the routine that I planned for 2025, but we will get to it. It's never too late, as Kylie Minogue used to sing. Right, on that note, I'm really going to go now. Bye.